Hello, and thank you for joining us. This video is brought to you by thestreamingadvisor.com. Tailor your entertainment with streaming. And what we're talking about in this video is the new Roku remote. This is the Roku Voice Remote Pro. This is a new product from Roku, and it's meant to update all of your Roku remotes that you've got already. Whether it came with your TV or whether it came with a Roku player, even the Roku soundbars. What this does is it adds new features to your Roku that it never did before. And we're going to talk about that. This is the remote itself. Essentially, it looks just like all of the other Roku remotes that are out there, especially the ones that come with the higher end products. For instance, it has the extra buttons up top. These allow you to assign specific apps to the buttons, kind of like these quick launch buttons, except that you can choose something real specific. Like, let's say you want it to launch Plex or Tubi or ESPN Plus, something that is not already there. You can assign them. The new remote has the private listening. What this is here, this is actually a button that controls whether your remote can listen to you. It has a new near field mic. That's the kind of microphone that you find in things like the Echo Show or something like that. It allows you to interact with your television without actually having to press a button. For those who like to do the things the old-fashioned way, there is still a microphone button. And, that might be easier for a lot of tasks. Honestly, because when you use the near-field mic, you'll see later that you have to kind of get to the point. You've got to be like, launch this app. Hey, Roku, launch this app. Hey, Roku, do this, do that. But as it is, you can still just say Netflix, and it'll open Netflix. Otherwise, the remote is the same as all the others. It's got the normal control. Of course, it's got the button up top, which controls your television once you have it programmed correctly. And otherwise, it's the same old thing, except for this. You'll notice there's a little button on the back of the remote. Now, what is this button? This button is like what you find in a standard Roku remote in the battery compartment. It is used for syncing the remote to your Roku or soundbar or even Roku-powered television. Now, why is it not hidden in a battery compartment? It's because this remote itself is rechargeable. So it doesn't have a battery compartment, at least it doesn't have one you can open. This means that it recharges by a USB cable that it does ship with. There's a little spot in the back to plug in your USB cable, and there it charges. So this makes it more like a phone. Hopefully the battery lasts longer than a phone. You don't have to, you won't have to charge it, every day. But in general, this is a really different take on the Roku remote, and we're going to show you how to set it up on a TV. What we're going to do is we're going to show you, we've got a TCL powered Roku TV. Just look at the difference between the two remotes here. This is a pretty tremendous upgrade. This TCL remote comes with 3 launch buttons. It does not have the voice, so you can't talk to it. You can't even press a button to make it do anything. It does have the volume on the side, which should be expected with anything that's supposed to control the television all on its own. It's got the mute, but it does not have the private listening. And of course, it doesn't have a button to switch on the near field mic because it doesn't have one. Otherwise, it's helpful in that it already is synced to your TV, so you don't have to do that. But this is not as powerful a remote as this. So, if you want to upgrade your TV experience even, that is something that you can do with it. So, next we're going to show you how to set this up and what it looks like on an actual television. See you on the other side. So, what we're going to do here is we're using our TCL television. This is the remote that goes with the TCL television, as we showed you earlier. And you'll see, ta-da, it loads up. So this is being controlled by the original remote. Let's just make sure that we are on the network. Yeah, okay, we're there. All right, so this is what you do to get it started with pairing with the new television. You're going to press that little button there. So we'll press it and you'll see it on the, you react it on the screen. You wait for the light to go. Let go. And it's pairing the remote. All right, it's now paired up. Now you'll see that it notices that the hands-free is off. That is because this switch is turned to the off position. It gives you a basic readout of what to do. It kind of gives you some ideas on things to try. You know, tell it to do this, tell it to do that. But what you do from here is observe the instructions. We'll turn on the microphone. It notices it. Hands-free voice is on. And from here, we're just going to let it know that we understand and continue. This is another feature. Fast TV start is turned on. What that means is that you can use the Roku when it isn't fully on, even your Roku TV. You can tell it to turn itself off. You can tell it to turn itself back on. And we'll show you that in a couple of minutes. Another really important thing that I didn't mention earlier is find your remote. A lot of Roku TVs and a lot of models outside of something like the Roku Ultra do not come with the little button that allows you to summon your remote. But in this case, you can do so by just saying, "Hey Roku, where's my remote?" Now, of course, when if you're holding it and asking it, "Where's my remote?" I mean, that's kind of duh, right? But the thing is that if it's just somewhere else, you've misplaced it. "Hey Roku, where's my remote?" See, it's still going to beep. So, believe me, when you've got something like 5 different Roku remotes, it's easy to lose one on your desk. Trust me. All right, so we're going to continue from over here. Now, it gives you some tips as far as what you're going to need to do as you're getting started. So it tells you to speak towards the remote, not the TV. Now, if your Roku is, if your remote is lost, you don't know where it is. You might have to, look around the room a little bit as far as speaking to it. But what we're going to do is show you that the background noise is an important factor. If your TV is really loud and you're trying to talk to it, it might give you a little trouble. It can actually pick up on the volume on whatever somebody is saying. So, what you want to make sure you do is keep the volume down when you're trying to give it commands. That can cause some headaches, but if you've got another remote around, just keep the volume lower. So, we're going to finish. And now you will see that the remote itself is controlling everything. Is it set up for volume? Yes. Let's see if it is automatically set to control the power. Yes, it is. See, so it sets up real easy. It's really a one-button solution. Now let's test some of the things that it's supposed to do. Oh, look, it updated. It's Happy Streaming Day. Yay! Well, that dates us a little bit. Today is Thursday, I believe, the 20th of May. Hey, Roku, launch Hulu. Now you see that it will launch an app. What you run into in apps, though, is that it doesn't necessarily launch profiles. For instance, hey Roku, launch Ryan profile in Hulu. See, it doesn't know how to do that. And so there's a problem in that. It doesn't just automatically set things up for you. On the other hand, if you're in something, and let's say you want to launch Pandora, you can say, hey Roku, play the Beatles. And it's going to load the Beatles.
Here's the Beatles radio from Pandora.
But I'm pulling out because basically YouTube's going to fight with me if I play even 10 seconds of the Beatles. So we're going to avoid that. You can ask it some things. This isn't as powerful as something like an Echo. You can't ask it for traffic reports and scores of the games. For instance, hey Roku, who won the Lakers game last night? Say, it doesn't know. But you can't ask it. Hey Roku, what time is it?
It's 11:16 a.m.
Now, of course, Roku has a clock right here. But if you're not paying attention, you can always ask. I like this little smoky background they've got going. Alright, so other things it can do. Hey Roku, open the Roku channel. Let's try, hey Roku, play Die Hard on the Roku channel.
Playing Die Hard on the Roku channel.
Again, if you are using an app that doesn't have profiles, it's going to jump in and handle things pretty well. Let's try Tubi. Let's say, hey Roku, play the Transformers on Tubi.
Playing Transformers Generation 1 on Tubi, free movies and TV.
Again, we're not launching it because it turns into a big hassle. Alright, so we're going to show you how these little buttons work. What you do is you have to, for one, use the voice activation to launch an app. So we're going to use it for ESPN and assign button number 1 for ESPN. Open ESPN. And as the app is loading, you hold down the number 1. You hear the beep. That means you're set. So, hey Roku, go back to the home screen. And so now we can launch ESPN by just pressing the 1. Both buttons work the same. And finally, let's test the turning on and turning off. Okay, I'm going to show you that I'm holding the remote right here, both hands on the screen. Hey Roku, turn off the TV. Hey Roku, turn on the TV. Hey Roku, turn off the TV. Now it said you can listen to music. Let's see how that works. Hey Roku, play Green Day music. It looks like either...
This is Green Day Radio from Pandora.
There you are. Okay guys, so that's it. That is the Roku Voice Remote Pro. I hope you liked that review, and if you did, please subscribe and share this video with your friends. I hope that you found it helpful. In general, I would say that if you are unhappy with the control you have right now with your Roku setup, that this is a very worthy investment. You actually get it from Roku, and I would recommend this over any of these sort of third-party remotes that you find on places like Walmart or even Amazon, because it's made by Roku, it's going to be supported by Roku, and I think it's going to have more longevity. I love the rechargeableness. This is one of the few on the market that do that. Another one that does recharge is something like one of the Apple TV remotes. I haven't worked with the brand new one to find out if that one is rechargeable as well, but the current one and its former model were both rechargeable by plugging them in. So, I'm Ryan Downey, the streaming advisor. Stream on, my friends.